Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi Menachos Chav Ches. We begin at the Mishnah, which is around 10 lines off the top. Over to the menorah in the Beis Hamikdash. What material is it comprised of? How is it designed? Which elements are critical? Are me'akev? Which ones are not? Says the Mishnah, Shiva, the seven Kane, the seven branches of the menorah. This term means, ma'akvin means it's critical. They're all essential. They're needed for each other, meaning it's inseparable. It's indivisible. It's one package. Seven is absolute. Likewise, Shiva Ne'roseh ma'akvin, the seven cups on top are all required. Shtei parsha sheba mezuzah. We switch over to Hilchos mezuzah and tefillin. So the two sections, that's the Shema V'ahavta and then Vayim Shemaya, both of them are ma'akvei zuzu. They're both absolutely vital. Afilu ksav echad, even one one missing letter, ma'akvan, holds back the whole thing. Dalet parsha shebetfillin ma'akvin zuzu. Likewise, the four sections of the tefillin are ma'akvin afilu ksav echad, ma'akvin, even one letter. Ta'al tzitzis ma'akvei zuzu. The four tzitzis that we have hanging on all four corners are all needed for each other, meaning sharbata mitzvah achas, they're all critical, was they're all really one mitzvah. It's one inseparable mitzvah. It's either four or nothing. Rabbi Shmuel Omer, no, you have just one, at least you fulfill that corner, arbata and arba mitzvahs, because all four are considered four separate mitzvahs. Okay, so the Mishnah began that the seven kane menorah ma'akvin. How do we know? My time was more. Why? How do we know havaya ksibu? Because it says havaya. It says kaf toireim uknoisam. That's the kanem. Mimena yihiyu. Hiyu means they're absolute. They're mi'akev. Tanurabanan. Okay, so how do they make the menorah? Menorah haisabah mina eshes. It's meant to be chiseled out of a block of gold, rather than melted down and formed. We take a block, a kikar zahav. It's about 57 kilo, huge amount of a block, and it's banged out. It's hammered out and formed like that in one piece. Ubinazav, it's meant to be of gold. Now suppose he didn't. Also menagrutois, he made it of scrap, metal scrap pieces, psula. That doesn't work. So if it's gold and gold scraps, it doesn't work. But if it's made of other types of metals, not gold, it works. And as we're going to see soon, in that case, it doesn't need to be mixture. It doesn't have to be hewn out of one solid piece. So ideally, it should be gold, and then it should be mixture. If it's gold and not mixture, it's possible. But if it's made of other metals, it's okay, even if it's molten and formed. So we have two requirements, and one is absolute, one is not. So the mixture requirement is absolute if it's gold, but the actual gold requirement in itself is not absolute. Why? Why do we allow for one to be done away with and not the other? Says the Gemara, Maishna, what's the difference? Minagrutois, you say, is psula, right? Scraps is no good. It says mixture. Vahavaya, it says mixture, which means it's made of one block, and it says vahavaya, non-negotiable. Likewise, regarding the actual material itself, it should be non-negotiable. Sharmini matris nami, other types of metals, zavavaya, it says gold and absoluteness. Amakra teyasa says that could be done even with other metals. L'rabi sharmini matris, we include other metals as well. Well, how do you know that's the purpose of the pasuk? Ve'ema l'rabi skrutois. Perhaps the pasuk, in saying teyasa, giving us that extra allowance, is to allow even for scraps. So again, how do you know to negate this condition and not the other? You can't suggest that scraps are okay. They are mixture, because on this mixture requirement, the block requirement, ksiva havaya, the pasuk adds havaya. So that's absolute. That's critical. Well, teyasa nami mixture ksiv. The word teyasa also relates back to mixture, right? Because Rashi explains, if you look at the pasuk, it says, Vasisa menorahs zov tor miksha te'aseh hamenorah, and it says yiyu. So the word yiyu is closer to miksha than to zahav, and that's why yiyu relates to miksha. It's absolute. Well, te'aseh is also very close to the word miksha. Let's allow even if it's not miksha. Teyasa, right? Teyasa now miksha ksiv. The answer is the Torah repeats miksha and miksha. La'akiv, tell you it's absolute. So repetition denotes emphasis and absoluteness. Okay, so you can't forego that condition. Well, in terms of gold as well, it's also repeated in the pasuk Zohav Zav Anami Le'akiv. Well, says the Gemara, here's the answer. Hi Mai. Well, what do you mean? If you take on my approach, other metals work, but if it's made of gold and scrap gold, it doesn't work. If you go with that approach, then the psukim will work out properly. Hainu Zohav Zav, Miksha Miksha, L'drosh. That explains why the Torah repeats the word Zav again and again, and Miksha again and again, to teach us this very point, as we're going to see later. Because it says Miksha many times and Zahav many times. So the point of repeating Miksha is to say it's absolute, and the point of saying it yet again is to tell you that Miksha requirement is specific to when it's gold. And the word Zav is repeated many times to tell you ideally it should be gold, and only when it's made of gold does it need to have all the other conditions, but it could be made of other metals. So basically, if we take our approach that gold is negotiable, Miksha is not, that would explain the repetition and the numerous mentionings of these words, as we're going to see later. If you take the other approach, if you argue, if you disagree with me, you insist that other metals are not acceptable, but grutois is, then we're not going to be able to direct the psukim properly. Zav, miksha, miksha, my dash is what are you going to do with the extra words? Says the Gemara, okay, so what are you talking? What are you referring to? My drasha, which drasha are you referring to? Which will prove to us that it need not be made out of gold. Zav is negotiable. This Sanya, we have a brisa. Kikar zav tar yasa isa es kol hakelim ha'ela. It's made of gold and made of a kikar of gold, which is a certain weight. We learn from this repetition that the kikar condition is specific to gold. But if you choose to make it out of non-gold, other metals, it need not have this kikar feature. Only when it's ba'azav, made of gold, ba'akikar, you need to be a kikar, ain't a ba'azav. But if it's made of other metals, ain't a ba'akikar, it need not be a kikar. So clearly, we see from here that it need not be gold. Furthermore, gvi'eha, kaftereh, fracheh. Pasuk says, you make it of gold, and you add the ornaments, the gvi'eha, this like cup, like design, kaftereh, these buttons, these balls of rachel, these flowers, and we learn from here, these are specific to a gold menorah, ba'azav. Then you need to have all these ornaments, ba'gvim, kafterim, frachem, ain't a ba'azav, but it's made of other metals other than gold. It need not have these other ornaments, ain't a ba'gvim, kafterim, frachem. Okay, says the Gemara, so kikar is related to zahav. These ornaments to zahav. What about the multiple branches? Maybe that's also specific to a gold menorah. And if it's not gold, they're unnecessary. Perhaps you can add to this equation and say, ba'azav, when it's made of gold, ba'akanim, it needs all those branches. Ein ba'azav, but otherwise, ein ba'akanim, it doesn't need the branches. Just a single, like a candlestick. Oh, pamait mikri, that wouldn't be a menorah. That's a pamait. And that's not acceptable. We have a pasuk v'zemas ha'menorah miksha zahav. So the word miksha is mentioned together with zahav to teach us that only if it's ba'azav, it's made of gold, ba'miksha, needs to be miksha, ain't ba'azav, but otherwise, ain't ba'miksha. Miksha, the seifel ma'asa, what's the added miksha later on? Lamuteh chatzoitris, that only a menorah need to be miksha, but not chatzoitris, the trumpets that were made in the midbar. The sanya chatzoitris ha'yubayim, mina eshes, mina kesef. Okay, now we shift to the trumpets that they used to gather together the nation in the midbar. Would be made of eshes, which we learned before is a block. It would have to be hewn out of chiseled out of a block rather than being, formed in a mold. It's meant to be made of silver. Are any of these negotiable? Yeah. Also, we make it of scraps. It's okay, even if it's not eshes. But if you veer away from silver, that's unacceptable. Ask the Gemara, how do you know which way to go? Why do we say other metals don't work? It says silver, v'havaya is absolute. All the same regarding the miksha, minagratoris nami, miksha vavaya. Perhaps havaya relates to miksha as well. How do you know that can be disregarded? Take a look at the menorah, it says, this is miksha. So the added word miksha there, repetition, is coming to exclude only the menorah must be made of miksha if it's of gold. But chatzaitres, even if it's not miksha, it works. Tanu Rabban, kol hakelim she'asa Moshe, ksherim loy, u'ksherim l'doros. So all the vessels, the kelim that were done in the midbar, Moshe Rabbeinu, commissioned and had made, are acceptable, can be used at that point, and also for generations to come. No expiration. But the chatzaitres, those trumpets, Sheirus loy, u'pesulis adar is only kosher then and cannot be used later on in a time of gathering, in a time of trumpeting by the karbanos. How do we know? It says the Gemara chatzaitres my time. Why do we disallow those chatzaitres for later generations? Because the pasuk says, "Hasei lecha." Hashem is telling Moshe Rabbeinu, make it lecha for you, lecha only yours, v'lo l'daros, and not for later. But that's what lecha means, el miata. If so, what about by the aron, the ark, which contained the luchos? Vasisa lecha aroinates. Hachanami, here too, you're going to say the lecha v'lo l'daros. It's only good for him and not for later on. Of course not. Ella, rather, the word lecha by the aron has a different meaning. Whether if you go with the opinion that lecha means you yourself, Moshe Rabbeinu, should sponsor it, or according to the other opinion, which learns that kaviyachol, it's as though Hashem is saying, I wish. I wish it would be yours. I favor yours more than theirs, more than Klal Yisrael. But in any case, it doesn't mean literally that it belongs to Moshe Rabbeinu. And certainly it was valid for generations to come. So perhaps the same with the chatzaitres, despite the fact that it says lacha. Answers the Gemara. So likewise, by the chatzaitres, although it says lacha, perhaps the message is just like the word lacha by the aray. But who says it can't be used later? Shani hasna makro lacha lacha treizimni. The answer is that chatzaitres. It's repeated once and again. Lacha, lacha, asay lacha, vay lacha. To indicate that it's only to be used during Moshe Rabbeinu's lifetime, not afterwards. Tani Rav Papa, brother of Chanan, he was Nambayro, presented in a brayso kamei in front of the Rabbi Yosef as follows: what materials is the menorah comprised of? Ideally, of gold, right? But what about other metals? What about non-metal materials? We have a machlokes. Menorah isabah min eshes. It's meant to be formed out of a block min azor of gold. Fine, that's the ideal. Also shal kesef. What about if you made it of silver kshera? It works. So according to all opinions, gold, silver works. Now we have middle category, cheaper metals, shalbat, which some translate as tin, shal evers, lead, shal gistra, and some sort of metal alloys, cheap metals. These are technically metals, but cheap metals. So this is the midsection. We have a machlokes. Rabbi says, no, paisel doesn't work. Rabbi Yosef, read the Machshir, says it's okay. And we have category number 3, non-metallic materials like wood, like bone, glass, shal eitz, shal etzem, shal schuchis. All agree that doesn't work. Okay, so according to this presentation, first category is gold, silver, check, according to all. Third category is non-metal materials, X, according to all. Mid-section, which is cheaper metals, Rebbe says pasul, Rabbi Yehuda says kosher. Amar Leiser, Rabbi Yosef responded to the presenter, my daitach. How do you explain this? The Rabbi Yehuda says cheaper metals are okay, but non-metals are not okay. How do you explain this? Amar Leiser says very simply, Bein mar, both opinions, klal uproti darshi. They apply the klal prat formula in interpreting the psukim describing the menorah materials, as we're going to see soon. Miu, but there's a slight difference, right? Klal uproti darshi. Miu, mar savar. There are two ways to interpret the klal prat system, resulting in different conclusions. Mar savar. So Rabbi Yehuda takes on this approach. He says, ma prat. What's unique about the specific material that the Torah actually cites, which is gold? What's specific? What's unique about it? It's metal. That is what defines it. Likewise, any other metal works, even cheap metals. Umar Savar Rebbe has a different approach. He says, what defines gold? Value, importance, significance. Ma prat mefurish davar chashav. Af kol davar chashav. Likewise, any other important, valuable, prominent metal like silver. But midsection, tin, all that doesn't work. Amalei, so Rav Yosef wasn't very happy with this presentation because he had a different version, which he preferred, which to him seemed more, reliable. He says, "Sami didach, delete your version of the machlekes, mikame di, in face of my presentation, my version. Desanya, listen to this second version of the same machlekes. Point to this version. Category number 1, prominent metals, according to all opinions, check. Category 2, the midsection, weaker metals, that's where the machlekes. The midsection, according to all shittas, also works because it's metal. It's only by the third category of non-metal equipment where we have the machlekes. Okay, so according to this version, Rebbe allows any metal. According to Reisi or Yehuda, we even allow wood or things like that. The Sani klei shorish asan shleitz. He made klei shorish of wood. Rebbe paisel, it doesn't work. Rabbi Yosef read the machshir. What's the machlekes about? According to this version, they have different ways of formalizing the psukim. Rabbi Dorish kloli prati. He works with the klal prat formula, hence his conclusion that only metal is acceptable. Rabbi Yehuda Dorish, he applies the ribuye umiyute system, which ends up even letting in non-metal equipment, materials, as long as it's not, the cheap, earthenware stuff. Okay, so according to this opinion, metal is acceptable according to all shittas. Machlekes revolves around non-metal material, as follows. Rebbe Darish Kloli Prat. He works with Klal Prat. The passage begins with a general description. Vasisa Menachos. Okay? Seemingly of any material, Klal, that sort of covers anything. But then the Torah specifies Zohav Tar. That's a Prat, that's a specific reference to gold. But then the Torah comes back, Mikshat Yasa Menorah, which again is a general, undefined statement. Chazal v'kol, back to general, use anything. So in summary, we have a klal, followed by uprat, concluding with uklal. So what's the message? You want to include other materials as long as they're somewhat similar to the itemized gold. How do you define it? What's the defining criterion? Ma prat mefurish shel mateches. It's made of it's a type of metal. Of course, shel mateches. Likewise, any metal works. That's Rabbi's shita. So it's defined by its metal component. Rabbi Yosef, Yehuda, Darish, Ribuy Miyut, he has a different system. Ribuy Miyut, inclusive, exclusive, which ends up allowing much more. You don't have to be similar to the prat. We pretty much include anything, except for something, the most unlikely candidate, which is klei cheres. So again, the pasuk begins about sisa b'neiras, which is a riba, covering everything. Zohav tar is a exclusionary term, miyat. Mikshat yasa, once again, hamanor is a inclusive term, chazav riba. So we have a riba, umiyat riba. We include everything, riba koil, any material works. My Rabbi, what are you going to include? Everything. Rabbi kol mili. But you have to exclude something. Umay miyat miyat shel cheres. Cheres is out. Why? Says Rashi. It's not even suitable for a human king. Shu pachas mikol hakelim, says Rashi. Bein roya afilu melech basar adam. So that's the most likely candidate for exclusion. Okay, so according to this approach, Rabbi Yosef's approach, again we have 3 categories: prominent metals, cheaper metals, and non-metals. First and second category, according to all shittas, are in. Machlekes is on the third category. Rabbi says only metals. Rabbi Yosef Rita says even non-metals, as long as it's not cheres. Adrab, so the presenter to Rabbi Yosef responded. He says, just the opposite. Sami didach, delete your version, because of mine. It's unlikely. It seems that this is the more accurate version, because we have another brisa, or even 2, that support this version, the Sanya. Ein lo izav, he has no access to gold to make the menorah. Maybe af shel kesef, shel nachoshes, shel barzel, shel bil, shel iferes, silver, copper, etc. All these metals work. That's the Chacham, Rabbi Yisrael Machshav Shaleitz. He says even wood works, which is in line with the second version before. We have another brayso as well. Adam, you're building a house, make sure not to replicate the rooms in the Beis Hamikdash. Your room, your house can't be the same dimensions as the Heichel. Your anteroom like the Ulam. Even your table, Shulchan, cannot be a perfect model of the Shulchan in the Beis Hamikdash, or even a Menorah. That's why we make the 8 branches on Chanukah. We never make 7. Right? You can make a 5-branch candelabra, if shal shisha 6, shal shmona 8, but not 7, shal shiva lo yas. Even if it's other metals, because even other metals are technically suitable for menorah. So once again, we see according to Rabbanan, all metals work. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Daimer, he adds even wood. Af shal eitz lo yasa. You shouldn't even make a duplicate of wood, because that can technically be used as a menorah in the Beis Hamikdash, as we find throughout history when the Yevanim impoverished the Jews during the time of Chanukah. They came back and they rebuilt the base. They came up with just a wood menorah. That's all they could afford. Apparently, even wood passes. Chacham responded, "No, Mishamrai. How can you prove anything from there? It wasn't really wood. Shvudim shel barzlo. They were really metal rods. The chifam abats covered with sort of tin, and maybe it looked like wood, but it wasn't really." Heshiru, when they were able to afford more, they upgraded it to asum shel kesef, to silver. Chazer Heshiru, they got even more wealthy. Asum shel zav. They upgraded the menorah's features to gold. Maybe they plated it or whatever. In any case, this is in line with Rav Yosef's version of events, that in terms of metal, all agree it passes. In terms of wood, only according to Rav Yosef. How high was the menorah? Amar Shmuel Mishmei the Saba. Shmuel quotes an elderly Chacham in terms of the height of the menorah. He says like this: Goiva shel menorah shmoina asar tefachim. From top to bottom, the menorah was 18 tefachim. And this is the breakdown, starting from the bottom up. Haraglaim v'perach, the legs, the base, and the little flower perched on it. Gimel tefachim, that covers the first 3 tefachim. Tefachim chalak, the next 2 tefach of that middle branch was smooth without any ornaments. V'tefach, the next tefach had shaboy gevia v'kaftar perach, had a trio design, a gevia, a little like a goblet, a little narrow, tall goblet, v'kaftar perach, side by side with a kaftar, a button, and a flower. Tefachim chalak, moving up the middle branch. 2 tefach was again smooth. And then the next tefach had the kaftar, this button, this ball, and the branch off would take place on either side of that kaftar, shnei konim yotzim menu, with 2 branches branching off from that ornament, echad elach, echad elach, one on either, coming out from either side, and mishachen va'oilin keneged goyva shel menorah, and extending upward. Some say directly in a direct line, some say in a sort of semicircle. The Rambam Pirsha Mishnah's original hand drawing shows it as a straight diagonal, but Rambam's son, Rabbi Rambam says, he brings other opinions that it was actually round. Rambam himself writes that he's not going to give you an accurate depiction, so it could be it was really meant to be round, although it was just for neatness, he made it straight. In any case, it's a whole to-do, the drawing, the actual depiction in the Arch of Titus in Rome. Once there, and I saw it was actually round. So, in any case, that's waits to be resolved when Mashiach comes. In any case, they would certainly, what's for sure is they certainly would make their way up to the top of the menorah, and on top, everything, all 7 were, ending at the same point. Okay, back to the backbone, the main branch of the menorah, tefach chalak. You have another tefach of just smooth, the tefach, then the next tefach you have the kaftar again, with the branches branching out on either side. One on either side of that ornament, making their way up to the top. V'tefach chalak, once again a tefach of smooth, and then once again a tefach kaftar, another 2 tefach of smooth. How much is left? You're up to 15. 3 tefach remaining. You have a total of 3 givin over there lined up. The kaftar perach, with a kaftar and perach which covers the next 3 tvach. Ugvin l'mayin doimen. We speak about these gvin. What do they look like? Min koisros Alexandrium. These narrow, tall glasses that they make in Alexandria of Mitzrayim. Kafterim l'mayin doimen. What do the kafterim look like? Min tapuchei hakarsim. These karsi apples, these round balls. Pracham l'mayin doimen. What about the flowers? Min perchei amudim, like these flowers engraved in the posts. Okay, so let's get a total. V'nimtzu gvin esr mishnayim. Total of 22 gvim. Kafterim achad asr, 11 kafterim. Pracham shtisha, 9 prachim. Interesting, they bring from the Vilna Gaon. The significance of these numbers is that you have 42 of these, and plus the 7 branches and the menorah itself, a total of 50 shari bina. The Torah was represented in the menorah, which would draw down the gates of wisdom to Klal Yisrael. Okay, now gviyim ma'akum zeh, all gviyim are critical for each other, meaning it's one package. You can't be missing any. Likewise, the kaftorim ma'akum zeh, prachim ma'akum zeh, and all 3 types are needed as one package. Gviyim, kaftorim, prachim ma'akum zeh. You can't have one type without the other. Let's go back to the numbers. Bishlam gviyim esr mishnayim. Understand how you get to 22 gviyim. The pasuk says, uba menorah arba gviyim. The actual branch, middle branch, has 4, and then you have 3 on all of the each one of the other 6. Uksiv shloisha gvim mishukadam bekana echad kafter perach. So you have arba dida, 4 on the middle section, and then you have a tamnis 3 dekanim, 18 for the 6 branches, which have 3 each. Ha esrim retartan. That's a total of 22. Okay, that works. Kafter nam echad asr. Kafter, understand how you get to 11 balls. Tere dida, 2 of the actual middle branch. So 1 towards the bottom, 1 towards the top. Vishisha dekanim, and you have 1 each for the other branches, another 6. V'kafta, and you have another 3 in the middle branch. 1 each where the branches branch away, so that's another 3. Hachatzaz asar, for a total of 11. Ela prachim tishimnal. How do you get to 9 prachim? Traded 2 of the actual middle branch, 1 on bottom and 1 on top. Vishisha dekanim, and 6, 1 per of the branches. Tamna Yahavitz, and only 8. And we speak about 9. Amar of Salmon Ksiv, there's another pasuk in Baloischa which says there's another flower. Ad Yirech at Perach Mikshahid, there's a perach by the Yircha, by the leg, by the base, that gets you to 9. Amar Rav, Goybish Menorah Tisha Tvachim. The menorah was merely 9 tefach high, not 18 as we said before. Esvei Rav Simi Brachi asked the question, Rav, if it's only 9, why do you need a stepping stool? As it says in the Mishnah Mesechus Talmud, Evan Hoyself Ne'emunah, there was this stepping stone with 3 steps. So the Rem is someplace that it says Ba'aloischa and Bahalois, it says that Lashon of elevation 3 times in the Parsha to hint to the 3 steps. Okay, so 3 steps there. On which the kohen would stand and clean up the menorah. If it's only 9 tefach high, why in the world would you need a stepping stone? So Rav responded, you're the one asking the question. Let me explain to you what I meant. When I said 9, I did not mean in total. Total was 18. I meant from where the first branch off the middle section, somewhere in the middle of the menorah, from there to the top was 9. That's the main section of the menorah. That's what I meant, but of course if you add the bottom part, it's a total of 18. Okay, so in summary, how was the menorah made? What material was used? So first we learned that all the shiva kanim are ma'akiv each other, all the ornaments are ma'akiv each other. However, the Gemara tells us, although ideally it should be made of gold, and if it's gold it needs to be miksha, which is non-negotiable, and needs all those ornaments, it needs to be made of a kikar. But if it's made of other metals, it also works, and in that case it doesn't need all these features like miksha, kikar, and the ornaments. In terms of what materials, so according to the final version, all metals work because they're similar to the gold, which is a metal item. But non-metal materials like wood, etc., according to Rebbe would not work. According to Rebbe, would work. We only exclude cheres, which is totally unbefitting. In terms of the height of the menorah, it's a total of 18 tefach. All the best to you and much hatzlacha.